what I'm currently about to plead to involves the stuff that did happen on camera. And so they're saying that I'm guilty of inciting or facilitating a riot by my live streaming commentary, which I guess I'm guilty of.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio,
Tumwa, Iowa.
Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Jordan. I am in the north side of Milwaukee. We are in the middle of our swing state reporting trip. Started out in Pennsylvania, then Michigan, now Wisconsin, with Vaughn Mays. You're a longtime activist here.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get into the election, but I want to start with your story because it's been going on for 8 years now? 7, 8 years?
Almost 7, yeah.
You're a longtime activist here, and back in 2016, in this area, there was protests. Let's start there. They called it the Sherman Park unrest.
Yes.
What were the protests over, and what ended up happening with you?
Man, a lot of history here in the city of Milwaukee. Like I mentioned, there have been many police shootings here, many racial incidents here. And so building up to 2016, there had been a number of police involved shootings in that particular year, and then leading up to that year.
Of black men.
Yeah, black men killed by police here, and not just in the city of Milwaukee, but like kind of the surrounding suburb areas like Wauwatosa. There was one officer in particular who killed 5 people in 3 years. So that whole thing was happening. But then in this area, there was a situation in the park with young people, the community, business owners, and the police that was very volatile that I ended up getting involved in. And although we were making some headway, the shooting of Seville Smith happened, and that blew everything up. And so that was
So police shot Seville Smith.
Yes.
And after that, he died?
He died, yes.
And after that, there was, protests. And all of a sudden, you're there that night. You're doing a live stream showing what's happening.
Right.
And that live stream becomes the police saying you tried to firebomb the police station? Yeah,
which is right across the street here, unscathed as you see, unlike the building that we're standing across from. I was hit with some federal conspiracy as a plot to do something to this police station. Now, mind you, if you go back and look up articles, you would have seen this police station was very much so heavily barricaded. There were snipers on the roof. There was no way anything would happen to this police station in particular. But
you were also live, so how could you plot to burn down the police station while doing a live stream?
Well, I'm guessing they're saying that this happened off camera.
Okay.
But what I'm currently about to plead to involves the stuff that did happen on camera. And so they're saying that I'm guilty of inciting or facilitating a riot by my live streaming commentary, which I guess I'm guilty of, according to.
So, full disclosure, I didn't have a ton of time to look into this, but the stuff I read, you were basically telling folks stuff's about to get real when they were leaving.
Right.
I don't really know how that's inciting a riot. We've seen this at Standing Rock and elsewhere where police say activists or live streamers are trying to incite a riot.
Right.
But did they have any physical evidence, video evidence, DNA of you with gas canisters or anything to blow up or commit a fire?
Absolutely not. And this is how we go from the federal indictment of 3 charges to a superseding indictment of 5 to 7, and now I'm down to 1, which has absolutely nothing to do with what I was accused of initially.
And what's the one you're down to is for the live stream? And
right.
So can you kind of give me the background? Because for folks that don't know, like many cities, Milwaukee's budget, almost half of it goes to the police.
Yes.
That the mayor's calling for more money for the police.
Always calling for more money.
Like you said, a lot of police shootings, particularly of black men. And at that time, the police weren't a big fan of you. Would you say that is accurate?
I made some very, very crazy enemies in high places, including that police chief at the time. He was Chief Flynn, and the sheriff's A lot of people know Sheriff Clark. Definitely wasn't a fan of me. I wasn't a fan of him either.
They didn't like the way you dressed, or was it something else?
I mean, anybody who stands up to police brutality, who advocates for changes and how they do things, who wants to clean up the department for the betterment of the entire community, they don't take well to that. We have a very strong police union here who, irregardless of what officers do, they advocate for them.
And also, at that point in 2016, you were one of the top activists fighting against Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
And would you say the police tended to support Donald Trump?
The police union this year is promoting and supporting Trump.
But back in 2016,
they absolutely were doing, I would say they were doing the same thing, absolutely. At that time, again, I wasn't involved in politics. I didn't really care or look into it that much. But seeing now beyond that point, that has always kind of been what they lean towards, that's, I can kind of make the correlation. And not to mention Trump, when he initially got in office, this is another reason why I got federally looked at, is he launched something called BIE, which is targeting Black activists under the guise that we are Black identity extremists. So if we support Black or part of a Panther group or anything like that, we're looked at as terrorists.
Sounds like some COINTELPRO kind of stuff.
Yeah, 2.0, yeah.
I don't know if I pronounced that right. I think it's COINTELPRO.
Yes.
So, bottom line, I see this in a lot of places. I don't know you from a hole in the wall. You don't seem like someone who's going to try to blow up a police station. Right. But they kind of identify the lead activists. Mm-hmm. I saw this in Standing Rock and Flint. Mm-hmm. And they try and kind of either divide and conquer or take that activist out.
Right.
And they, had sources or witnesses that came out against you, saying certain things. Those sources or witnesses, I mean, do you feel like they were intimidated by the police, coerced by the police?
Absolutely. And as I explained to you, if you watch the video from those incidents during the unrest, you will see hundreds of people, maybe thousands, who were part of that, damage of different stuff. And none of those people face charges. So I would think it would be very easy to give them that alternative if I'm the person that you really want to target. And according to my lawyer, and hopefully after tomorrow's hearing, I can speak more about this. But a lot of those people are recanting. A lot of those people are saying, yes, you intimidated me. Yes, you offered me different things. And that was why I was one of those people who were willing to do that.
So it seems like they tried to railroad you and coerce a bunch of other people. And with something like this, you would think going up for 7 years, federal indictment, they would have something like your fingerprints on something or video evidence. They said you were plotting with 20 or so people somewhere.
20 people.
Okay.
Sounds a little crazy, right?
And was there fires on the police station that night?
It looks exactly how it did in 2016 and every day after that.
And tell me about this ordeal. I don't know how, you don't seem like an old guy. No. This is 7 years.
Yeah.
It's got to be very difficult because you're simultaneously, from what I heard, a major activist here. You do, gifts during Christmas for the underprivileged.
Yeah.
You're a community activist here, involved with everything from racial justice to cleanup to crime prevention.
Yeah.
But you're fighting
a federal case the entire time. And I spoke about that last night. A lot of people have missed that because I haven't missed a step. I think that was part of the plan to kind of deter me or dissuade me and get me to kind of back down. But it's been quite the opposite. I've actually, 100 times more active than I was at that time. So it has been oppressive and suppressive in the fact that I was not able to travel. I had extreme travel restrictions. I have not been eligible to support myself with the work that I do. So city and government have been unwilling to give me contracts or support because this has been ongoing. So it has been, part of their plan was effective in kind of putting me in this box. But because of the support, because of people actually seeing beyond what is being said and what's being presented to them, and they see me out here every day and they support, I've been able to do everything I was doing and more since that point.
Tomorrow, I think it is, you're going to have a plea agreement.
Right.
So what comes next for you? Could you still be facing jail time or over?
Well, now it's up to the judge, but the agreement is that no time served, no probation, anything like that. And to me, again, in the federal process, I have been to 2 federal trials here leading up to this. And again, evidence-wise, I totally intend to take it to trial. But the 2 federal trials that I was able to attend, the jurors voted again, and the defense wiped the floor with the other side and should not have lost. But the jurors and where they're pulled from, these red places in this state, I don't want to take a gamble on that.
And you know, it seems to me if the one charge left is not firebombing police stations, but inciting a riot, seems they're trying to criminalize activism.
Essentially, that is the case, and which is why, you know, I intended to move away from the activism part and get into politics, but this also prevents me from doing that.
Right.
Now that I will have a federal conviction, I'll have to get a pardon from a president, then deal with getting a pardon from the state, because I'm not eligible with my age, according to the laws here, to get expungement. I would have to get a pardon as well from the state. That is a process that's not going to take, you know, a short amount of time, and so that prevents me from being where a lot of people would like to see me at, with my level of investment and involvement in this community. But I would rather deal with that part and from that starting point than to, again, roll the dice with this trial, with how things are.
And it still seems very strange to me why this became a federal charge. Or did you cross state lines? No.
Well, they have this thing that's apparently a phone is a premise of interstate commerce.
Interesting.
So, and my lawyer was talking to an individual who said that this is similar to the January 6th stuff, but a lot of those people were given misdemeanors. My case is a felony.
What's the difference between you and those people?
Right, and I literally did nothing but use my phone and just make commentary versus people who went into a building, who attacked police, who destroyed property. Again, I don't know what the difference is, but there's clearly a difference.
Right. Thanks for taking the time.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.